All right, here we are.
Hey, we're back.
We are back. We are live. Jesus, how you
Yeah.
been, man?
Well, all right, I guess. I mean, you
You
can
don't
tell I
got the
kind of
Barry
caught
White
something.
voice. You were
Uh,
warning me. You said that you were gonna be like, kind of scruffy sounding or something. You sound fine to me.
well, I mean, it's a little deeper yesterday, so I
Oh,
don't know. Maybe
okay.
it'll work. Maybe it's my radio voice or
Yeah, that's
podcast
what
voice.
that's exactly what it is. It's the podcast voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Actually, I think I kind of like
Okay. Well, I can't guarantee it's going to stick, but
it.
I'll try.
Wow. Well, so this is well, I mean, for everybody that's joining us, welcome. This is the first time we've been live in quite a while,
Yeah.
actually,
Hmm.
and we decided to change up the time. We realized that people were getting their days going, and by the time we started Central Time, a lot of people are already out and about and doing their things, and it's probably
Yeah.
still the case. So, well,
And football too.
yeah, that's right. Well, and we're gonna try and adjust things as time goes on to make more
Mhm.
sense for everybody who wants to participate. But it's because the whole purpose of us doing these lives really is to engage everybody who is
Mhm.
watching, and you and I can talk forever, just the
Yeah.
two of us, and record it and then hack it up into an episode, which is what we've been doing. But
Hmm.
what we want to do every now and then is check in with all the folks that are new, because we have a lot of them,
Yeah. Yep.
and also the really just kind of just take a step back, take the foot off the pedal, as it were, with the editing, and
Hmm.
just kind of do like we used to do and just kind of just
Oh
talk.
yeah.
But that I don't know about you, but when last weekend when we did the episode, we launched the episode about the boucherie, it really brought back a lot of memories, because it
Oh
had
yeah.
been almost a full 2 months since we went,
Yep.
right?
End of
And
February, February 24th.
yeah, so actually, yeah, so I guess it's been a little bit more than 2 months, and that was. I look back at all the things that happened during the boucherie, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember your wedding, but everything kind of
Yeah.
happens. It's just a whirlwind of activity, and next thing you
Yep.
know, you have a ring on your finger, and your
Hmm.
girlfriend is now, or your fiance is now your wife, and
Right.
now you're beginning this new phase of your life, and it's kind of like the boucherie was just so much stuff going on, and of course,
Hmm.
me trying to capture a lot of stuff. Of course, you interacting with a bunch of people.
Right.
I don't know how much you got around to the different stations, but I mean,
Didn't really,
no,
because like we talked before, I mean, a lot of the things is when I feel like I'm trying to, especially when I'm lead on the table,
yeah,
I want to make sure that the tables, everything's going good, and part of that was I was able to pick a lot of good team members to begin with, and so they were all pretty dedicated. So yeah, I probably could have run around some, but also with some of the things, it's just you're just constantly going to make, to get the timeline before I think 11:30 is what they wanted.
right.
So
Did they end up did they serve the boudin that you made that day? Was
no,
it
not that day.
not
I
that
think
day?
they yeah, because they had so much others, I think they made it either the day before or a couple days before.
Okay.
Um they've got to have their, as we talked about, they're so well prepared there that they
Yes.
want to, be have insurance, so to speak, that the different varieties are available for everybody to have.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that
but I
was
mean,
always. Go ahead,
go
sir.
ahead. No, I was gonna say is that they could have, we could have had samples of it right after, because it was complete when, and when you captured a lot of that when we had the some pictures before and then even after. In
Hmm.
fact, the young man that you highlighted, uh, some of I guess the casing had busted, and they ended up bringing it over to a guy who had a grill, and he kind of made the like boudin burgers
Yeah.
with the blood
Cool.
boudin.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, we could have eaten it, but I think from the standpoint of John having to figure out how many people they have and have enough, you know, they, I assume, I don't know if the nuns got it the next day or if they ate it amongst themselves as a, a staff food thing or
Right.
what. But
Yeah. They had to
it
take a
was all
break
good and
off.
edible.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all looked really good, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
remiss that I didn't, especially when we had our experience at the City Cafe later that day, and I had my
Yeah.
sights set on my shrimp, and I never got them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I should have eaten here, but oh well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I learned for next year, so
Yeah.
assuming that I get the opportunity to go again next year, I think that'll be
Yeah.
really cool to get around to the different stations and not only
Mhm.
just watch people but talk to them, interact with them because there was a lot of just people. It became
Yeah.
very quickly a mass of just people, and everybody
Well,
was observing.
yeah, your analogy was, good from the standpoint of all the activity going on and trying to, you know, watch some of the things. I guess the benefit of me doing, I think it's 7 of these so far, is that, the first year or 2 was, just so much, overwhelm, if you will.
Yeah.
And then, there has been opportunities where if I didn't have to lead a table, I'd either or we were working close to somebody, we could kind of observe it. And the good thing is now that it's under the tennis court, it's a lot easier for us to kind of look over and interact some because when the early days when it was out on the Persimmon Hill, as John calls it was beautiful. I mean, I like that location.
Hmm.
There's a lot more room for folks, but from a interactivity standpoint of the different tables, it was kind of hard to really see what was going on because you had the crowd of people there. But in the covered tennis court, it works out a little bit better that you kind of that's where all the action's at. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
but
it was a great time. It was, I mean, by all accounts, and just looking at the number of people who've actually watched that
yeah,
episode, it's gaining a lot of traction, which is great. I'm glad to see
hmm
people are watching that, and
yeah,
seeing what goes on because, like I said at the beginning of that particular episode, I'd never been to one, and I had no idea what to
hmm
expect, and now I have a better sense, and I think that the camera can only capture so much, obviously
hmm
you have a very narrow width of a field of vision, and
yeah,
you're at the mercy of the photographer or the videographer who's capturing the event. So it's
mhm,
hard to get a sense of scale, and that's what I hope the drone coverage would provide is
yeah,
the kind of that bird's eye view of this is how big it is, this is how
yeah,
massive this event is. And even then it's kind of hard to tell unless I got up at like 400 feet and just did a whole shot so you could see the entire property and get a sense, how
right,
small the cars are in relation to
yeah,
the people and then in relation to the tent and everything. But, that was that was an interesting time. That was definitely an interesting
yeah,
time. And I miss it. Um, and, but, I think I've finally recovered from my food coma that I was in for
yeah,
some time after.
hmm
But it's okay. So for everybody who's watching or is
hmm
catching this on the replay, when you go to New Orleans, there is a tendency. It's like going to Vegas. You just kind of do this blowout, right? And then towards by the time you're going home, you're just like, get me out of here. I gotta I gotta decompress. And
yeah,
that's a rookie mistake, right? You kind
yeah,
of like anything else, you have to pace yourself. Of course, I didn't pace myself for 2 weeks. I did not pace myself, and it was I came home and I was just like, oh my god, I was lethargic, and it reminded me a lot of going to trade shows in Vegas, which I did during my early tech years, and now it's this particular event and everything that happened afterwards when I was going around the different places, it was all centered around food. It wasn't
yeah,
centered around tech and going out and drinking late at night with buddies from work. This was just food.
hmm
And oh my God, did I eat? I look back and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I ate all this. I can't remember. I didn't remember going to this place, but I have it on video.
yeah.
So,
Well, I think back about when I did a couple of projects in Baton Rouge 14 years ago, and then maybe 10 years. I did 2 stints.
mhm,
But the first one we did was a long, like about a year and a half project. We were changing some piping out on some metering stations. So a lot of attention to detail had to be paid on it. So I'd go
yeah,
once a month for the first 6 months. then be me by myself for like a week. And then when the guy was kind of leading the project, he and I both had agreed upon we didn't want to eat at chain restaurants, and
Right.
um, and so he was all up for us trying the different places, and neither one of us were drinking to excess. It was just going to be, it was more like trying out the different foods. And so, to your point, especially when we hit the 6 8 week period when we were doing the project, and we were there for almost 2 months. Um,
Yeah.
we'd go to lunch at the I'll give a shout out to the place because it's still up there and it's great. Roberto's Cafe, I think Riverside Cafe. It's in just north of St. Gabriel, on the River Road. I mean,
Yep.
it's an old country store or plantation store, whatever you want to call it, that's been changed into this restaurant. And it was phenomenal. And so, I mean, we'd eat there 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes we go to a Mexican restaurant, or we found this great grill in Dutchtown. But and all the food was, taken eaten out. And then, like I think I told you, we tried 3 or 4 different places or more for dinner. And so you're doing that every day for 6 7 days a week.
Right.
And so yeah, so when I came back, I don't think I lost a lot of the weight that I needed to from it, but it was in my case, I think what it was too is the fact that even though now I do have more opportunity to get a lot of that in Mobile and learn how to cook some of it, it was kind of still the learning process of what do
Y-
they do differently that I'm not doing, or I've never had that, maybe I need to learn about it. So, and then you find out it's really good, and then you want to have it again, and then again. So,
right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Again and
I
again
know,
and
I know what you
yeah.
mean.
Yeah. My wife, she's just like it not even necessarily really. I look. I'm a creature of habit, and I told you this in one of the episodes. Is that when we were talking
Yeah,
about the places like I love shrimp. I will
yeah,
go and I will clean out a place if given the opportunity. Um, and unfortunately, we can only get shrimp that's farm raised predominantly from overseas here in Seattle, unless you're
mhm,
mortgaging your house. You're not going to be able to afford seafood here. I
yeah,
we were just at Whole Foods. As an aside, we were just at Whole Foods over not actually it wasn't even Whole Foods. It was just a local grocer, and they
mhm.
had a pint of lump crab meat for $22, and it was just like wow, wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, a pint here is, I don't know. Some of it is actually running like what's pint? Is that's
No, you know what? It was a half pint. It was those tiny.
yeah,
It was like
because
the
when
little
you're
Haagen Dazs
yeah,
ones.
it's
That
four
that.
ounces. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a half cup, 4 ounces.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
$22.
a pint, yeah, a pint here is like $32.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That's four
so it's not,
times, right,
yeah,
or double.
it's
I,
probably a couple more dollars than I'm paying for, yeah, because a half pint is probably like 18. So you
hmm.
pay 22. So you
Yeah,
probably got $4 markup. I say markup difference between you and I.
the cost of transporting goods,
Yeah,
maybe. I
yeah.
I found this. Oh, where did I put it? Oh shoot! You know what? There was a actually I think I have it in my photos thing. I got to pull this up because I thought it was funnier than
Oh,
hell. And the only people that will get this are people from Louisiana.
I think I know
Here,
what you're talking about.
this one.
Yeah.
It's, there's
Yeah.
not many places I could put this sign up in the Pacific Northwest
Yeah.
without starting a riot. But
Mhm.
that's a real sign. And that's
Yeah.
when it comes to crab meat, yeah, that's or crabs, and
Yeah.
I but this does have a sense of humor to it. There's a little bit of like, okay, did they need to put it that way, but it is Deanie's, so
Yeah.
it's legit. So it's,
Yeah. When you're talking about the accessibility to seafood, and I think we've talked about it before here in Mobile, especially after I bought the second Hooks, Lies, and Alibis, John's
yeah,
Fols's
yeah,
second encyclopedia on seafood. I'm looking at all those recipes, and I'm seeing crabs, and I'm seeing shrimp, and I'm seeing flounder, and of course redfish and red snapper, and I'm like, I have all that accessibility to it here. I'm 30 minutes away from Gulf
yeah,
Shores and 20, not Gulf Shores, Dolphin Island. or Bayou La Battery area. But I'm within 20, 30 minutes of it, and I really should be enjoying it more.
Right.
And we have a few places kind of like Deanie's, and there's another one. There's a couple of them in Metairie that my parents and aunts and uncles would go to. I think Schaefer's is one of them. And I know there's a couple over in the eastern shore, North Shore. Kenny's Seafood, I think, is in Slidell, and then like we talked about the Mandeville Seafood
Yep.
Market.
Yep.
We have a few of those around here. There's probably more than I know, but there's none of them that I'm aware of in Mobile that have the reverence for the boiled crabs that they do in New Orleans.
No,
And
you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
so it's like either I go catch them myself, or I might be able to pay. Used to, I think in Louisiana you would buy them by the bushel or by the but over here, but by the pound. I think
Yeah.
you buy them by the dozen here, or maybe it was by the dozen you bought them, but by the pound here. There's some difference where it was not really as favorable, in my opinion, to buy them the way they were selling them in Mobile.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but
Well, if people ate seafood here all the time, the entire city would be living paycheck to paycheck.
yeah,
It's that rough, as far as if I want Dungeness crab or some of the northern Pacific sea
varieties.
life, that's
Yeah,
much easier to get my hands on. But frankly, I could care less about salmon.
yeah,
I know that that's a whole industry, and if there's salmon fishermen that have watched this and say "F you," and it's like, okay, fine. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I just don't.
yeah.
I've never have, and I don't care if I cook it on cedar planks or on a bed of charcoals. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't like it. But um,
Yeah.
there's only one Japanese dish that I'll eat that has like a dried salmon in it inside a rice enclosure that's wrapped in seaweed, and I can
Mhm.
tolerate that. But aside from that, that's all I'm willing to do. But anyway, so we had a good time. Obviously, we had
Mhm.
a good time, and then you came back and had a good time with your coworkers, and it's always nice to be able to eat
Yeah.
on the company's dime.
Yeah.
That's always uh that
Mm.
yeah, I remember expense accounts at one time. That was really nice. So eh, what I mean, aside from family life and stuff like that, you had an opportunity. Actually, we did an episode on this where you met up with Larry and Don,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
that was actually a great episode. Now,
Yeah.
does he have something going on today? I know that.
Ah, yeah, he posted something that Larry, I think every weekend pretty much has something going on. There's a lot of he does a lot where he participates in like outdoor shows. Like, in fact, so Don Dubuque was in Mobile actually last weekend.
Right.
There was an Echo something outdoors type of show at the
Yeah.
convention center. It sounded phenomenal, and I wish I could have had a chance to go out and see him and experience that because they had some stuff there. But Larry, I know there's a lot of either food related or like home and garden or houseware type of shows all along the river parishes or New Orleans, Baton Rouge area. So
Yeah.
it seems like at least once a month or twice a month he's doing one of these type of deals where he's sharing with everybody the stew and a few or his ready set gumbo products.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
like he's really taken. I mean, the photos that he posted on Facebook were these recent? The ones where he's with Billy Nungesser and
I think so.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, Billy Nungesser's a real big, great supporter of all the local type of
yeah,
stuff like that. So
hmm,
I know I've seen several with him and Larry, and even some with John, where they're getting together and supporting that kind of tourism. I think next week is actually, I don't know if it's Louisiana or just National Tourism Week. I saw like the River Parishes Tourism
right,
Commission posted
right.
something about that this morning. But yeah, so Larry stays busy doing that, and
Good for
just like
him.
Larry, there's tons of people that hopefully will either reach out to us or let us know about that we
Yeah,
would like to talk to. about similar products, especially since Larry is certified Louisiana. And
Yeah.
he gave us a couple of names that we weren't able to get to at the time
Right.
when we were down there. Some products I can get easier than you can get, and we can kind of try them afar or virtually, whatever you want to call it. But oh, yeah, we definitely would like to know more of those type of people.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see your
Ren's
son's turning.
yeah, he's joining us. That's cool. Hey Ren.
Good morning, Ren.
Yeah. Hope you're recovery. He did his first cross country lessons with his flight instructor this week. So he is one step closer to being a private pilot.
So, how
And
far is a cross country flight for him?
it depends. You have three different cross countries that you fly, and there's a maximum or minimum leg that at least one of the legs needs to be, and you need to either come to a full stop at the airport or do a touch and go. It just depends on how long do you want to have the plane. I was kind of the for me when I was getting my license, I was spending time. I like traveling around, right? So for me,
Hmm.
the instructor just wanted to get back. I'm
Yeah,
like, let's hang out, let's go have lunch, and
we're up here.
because in Destin was gosh, I have a very vivid memory of Destin, and Destin was not one of the ones that I did on my cross country. Gulfport was one. I think I went as far as I think it actually Mobile when I was getting my license, but Destin was a little bit further than it needed to be for
Were you in
getting.
New Orleans when you started that,
Yeah,
or was this
yeah,
in
yeah,
okay, alright.
yeah. So I've had my license since 1992. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know whether cross country for Ren would be like going from Seattle to go see your dad in New Jersey or something like that.
yeah. Well, he's saying it has to be an airport 50 nautical miles away. So basically,
Okay.
that's 60-ish miles away, so hour drive or so.
Yeah.
Oh, Joanne's checking in. Hey, Joanne, how you doing?
Hey, Joanne.
Uh,
Gonzalez, yeah.
yeah. Um, so we've but yeah, Destin was great because there was a place called Fuddpuckers right there on
Oh, yeah,
the.
we've been there.
You've been to Fuddpuckers? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind
been
of
on in 30 years, 20 years,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's been a moment, but it was kind of looked like this shack. It
Mhm.
was just the place itself was
Yeah.
it was designed to look like a like kind of like Algiers Landing was when
Mhm.
from the outside.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm happy to see that he's getting because that for me that was the best part about getting my license was when I was flying places. You can do as
Yeah.
much flying as you want,
Yeah.
just in circles and practice maneuvers, but it's going places that made it fun. So, okay, so for me, since I got back, I've been literally just working on studio stuff and then also obviously doing the episodes,
Yeah.
getting down and editing them and I hope people are enjoying the episodes that we have been posting because they do take a bit of time to put together, but I think the end
Yeah.
result is that it's a very, we're trying to keep them around 30 minutes long so you're not, occupying your entire day
Yeah.
listening to David and I, and so we try and keep the content concise and fun and engaging the whole time. So yeah, I've been doing that and working on actually what we're going to try and do today. We'll see. We'll see if we get any
Mhm.
brave souls to call in
Mhm.
using Zoom. But I pretty soon here I'm going to launch a Zoom meeting, and there is a link in the YouTube description. So if you have Zoom, it's kind of like, well, we'll see how it goes because this is beta software. So that's another thing I've been doing. I've been working on beta software and stuff like that. I got my moderator tag for one of the software packages that I use. I'm now a moderator for this company, and it's been cool. The name of the company is Ecamm, and that's what we've been using to produce the Rainy
Mhm.
Cajun since the beginning. But they just integrated Zoom functionality directly into the product, so that
Cool.
means that you and I are in what they call interview mode right now, but they also
Yeah.
have a Zoom feature now where you can basically host an entire Zoom meeting inside of
Hmm.
this and then add all the special effects that Ecamm's capable of doing, the
Yeah.
transitions and the graphics and things like that. So there is a link and it won't be active yet. I'll let everybody know who is watching, who has the courage to get on and participate. Because I think it might be fun to have people call in and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah. I mean,
be on
I
screen.
was I was gonna say, I mean, and from both of us working in the business world, and from a standpoint of things that have obviously, there's a lot of the issues from the pandemic and all with that. And I know a lot of people still prefer to do things in real time and go visit. But I think that this type of software and this accessibility to the cameras and the mics and stuff, which I mean, I know you had it before. I'm actually still using the same stuff I bought, but my
Right.
my stuff was really more for trying to do some video things that I was planning on doing. But, I mean, I look at the software from the user end where we're on, and I mean, it's just you've done a phenomenal job with setting up the system. And so now, I mean, it makes it easy that you can be in Seattle, and I can be in Mobile, and maybe we can get hopefully one day John or somebody from Louisiana to sit in and have these meetings where it's convenient for everybody from a time standpoint.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
I mean, I did a Zoom call with the little project I'm working on for the 100th anniversary of the tornado in
Yep.
Vacherie, I think 2 Sundays ago, and I mean, I had one of our distant cousins in Pennsylvania calling in, and then a woman and her brother from Metairie, and me in Mobile, and we were able to like be in the same room.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's great to see these capabilities because now, if you're creative, I find myself the older I get, I tend to, I think I'm heading more toward the creative instead of just the analytical. And it's great to have that from a like you're talking about, just the um, video editing. I mean, I do a lot of those little short videos, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do a lot of them on my phone. And but even then, a 5-minute video takes a couple of hours with doing it on your phone and
Right.
going between here and there and getting the sound as good as you can for that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, David's channel it's David J Hubble, right?
Yeah.
That's your channel
Hmm.
name on YouTube.
YouTube.
And if you're interested at all about the things that David is interested in, I mean, he is the Melatonin Man of Mobile, and so he is well known, well versed, extremely well versed to the point where Chef John Folse is getting his plants from David, his melatonin plants from David. So,
Yeah.
David is being called by radio stations in California to do interviews. That's impressive. That's very impressive, actually, because I would have thought that growing a plant would spark so much interest, but it is a very unique and niche topic. But at the same time, there's a lot of people interested, which is great. So, yeah,
Yeah.
at David J Hubble is your channel,
Yeah.
and give him a follow and watch some of his videos. I mean, he takes you on a tour of his backyard and just kind of shows you the progress of his plants every growing season, and it's pretty interesting to watch.
If
Um,
you're into that type of stuff, but yeah.
well, even if you're not, you might find yourself going, this is kind of look. How many times have you watched a YouTube channel going, what the hell is this? And then you find yourself 30 minutes later still watching it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and I
Hmm.
can see my wife's hand. She is downstairs 2 floors. I know she's raising her hand right now. I know she is because she's watching, and, I've caught her watching
Oh yeah. Yeah.
teenager shows now with our daughter, and I just have to. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like it
Mm.
reminds me of like when our grandparents, when we go visit, Amy and Mama, and they're watching their
Yeah.
soaps on
Oh
in the
yeah.
afternoon, and you're just like, what the hell? Can I put cartoons on, please?
Yeah.
you know, It's
Oh
the,
yeah, I remember
it's the
those.
same thing. It's the same thing. So hey, you never
Mhm.
know. You might find something interesting that David's got, and also you are part of the Royal Order of Gumbo.
Yeah.
We need to remind people of these things because you have street cred, right? I mean that there is a thing there. So
Yeah.
I think that everybody should understand that we're not talking out of our butts here. Maybe a little bit, but I mean for the most
Yeah.
part, no. And
It's not just us telling ourselves that we know these things. They got other people who have asked us to participate in
hmm
discussions.
yeah,
And so that's very humbling that people have asked me to do some of those things. I think in a couple, probably not next, maybe next week, that I did another podcast in Mobile. And,
hmm
like we talked about just now, being able to do this virtually, it's an audio podcast called Port City Plates that this guy, Chris Andrews, does.
okay,
Chris has this really cool idea for those who are visiting Mobile. And I'm sure they've got something like that in some of the cities in New Orleans, I mean, in Louisiana. He does a historical food tour of downtown Mobile. And so our leader of the Royal Order of Gumbo kind of prompted him and asked him if he'd be interested in talking to one of us about what we do. And so I did an interview talking about gumbo in Mobile. And we've got a long history of gumbo in Mobile because we were the first capital of French colonial Louisiana,
yep.
which I like to remind myself. It gives me a little comfort to say it that way. But
It's hard. It's really hard as a New Orleanian to not kind of chuckle at Mobile
yeah, I know.
because, and I know people in Mobile are just like, screw you, we were the first at this and we were the first at that. And it's like, yeah, but we made it better. So
Yeah.
it's, we took it and ran with it, and so there's one thing being first and there's another thing that's being the most well known for something. So anyway, look,
Yeah.
people of Mobile, I love you. Don't take it as a slight. I got much more beef with the people around me here in Seattle. You guys are cool. It's more about the just the notion that Mobile does have a
hmm
history that a lot of New Orleanians do not appreciate, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. So
Yeah.
but it's cool that you get to be part of that, being born in Louisiana and raised in Texas, and then living in Mobile with your family.
Yeah.
You've kind of seen it all. I
Yeah.
mean, just yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think you can go much further than like mm, maybe a little bit east of Destin, and then you're no longer considered Gulf Coast. I'm sorry if you're Tampa or
Yeah.
down that coastline there, you're part of Florida. There's a
Yeah.
southern Gulf Coast, and anyway, I'm probably pissing off a lot of people right now, but that's okay. It's
Yeah.
you have experienced what we know to be the South,
Yeah.
the Gulf Coast.
And I mean, and we even talked about grandma's dad was born in Louisiana, and he ended up moving in the 1930s to Florida
Yeah,
along the Gulf Coast there, a little past, and that's where he lived the rest of his life. But there's, I didn't understand, I didn't realize until I was doing some research on him. There was a big group of Cajuns that just due to the lumber company
right.
over there, and so. Um, Yeah, so it's interesting, like I said, because I'm like you. Whenever I first moved here to Mobile, you hear people saying we'd had this before that, and you want to call BS, and then you start researching and you realize, okay,
Yeah,
there is legitimacy there,
yeah,
and then I want to make sure I accept the truth and share it, and then like I said, there's a lot of these recipes that I've tried that are old, and I like I made an old Mobile gumbo recipe to bring to the podcast. And I was very surprised at, even though it was so different, it was very, I mean, it had the gumbo qualities. So I'll put a video out on that in a little bit, but it was just really surprising. So sometimes we get so far away from the original sources that we don't really realize that it's not quite as far as we think it is. So,
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay, so what I want to do now, because I want to give us time to try this, is for those of you suckers, guinea pig, no, participants. There's not many people. I don't think there's many people watching right now. Oh, we got 5 people. I know one of them, 2 of them actually. If anybody wants to call in via Zoom, the link is now active down below, and if anybody has any trouble getting in, let me know. But you just click that link. If it prompts you for a password, who dat is the password, and we will bring you in and you can participate. Now there's some ground rules. It's like calling into a radio station. You got to turn down the volume on your radio, because otherwise you're going to get double audio that's delayed by about 10-15 seconds. So that's no bueno. And then if you do have any special settings in Zoom, you want to pretty much disable those. The Zoom audio functions, as far as noise cancellation and all that other stuff, should work. If they don't for some reason, we'll just say adieu and move on. So it is an opportunity, though, if you want to join in. And then also you can comment down here. I'm really looking forward to testing out this functionality, because I think it will be a lot of fun once we get people, calling in and engaged. I think it's going to be a really cool way. This is like doing, a call-in show, like a radio show when you were growing up as a kid, and sit there and you keep dialing and you keep getting a busy signal. Well, there's no busy signal, and you get to be seen at the same time. So I think that's the only part that freaks people out. And you don't have to put on your camera, but that kind of defeats the purpose of coming in on Zoom. So
I was trying to look at the comments. I pulled it up just on my phone to see if I can find a link. And I'm not sure I'm able to see it.
It's in the description of the Inside YouTube, the very first there. Okay, here we go. We got Ren. Ren is joining. So I'm going to add him, and we're going to switch over. Okay, well,
there he is.
There's half of them. There he is.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Welcome back to the show, Ren.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. He's one of the ones that well, you've been on the show here in studio.
Yeah.
Before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it actually looks like a nice sunny day where you are.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can see.
Wow.
Nice blue sky out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got
like he needs to turn his radio down.
You need to turn your computer down or something.
Oh, that's the TV, because I have y'all on the TV too.
Oh, okay. Well, you can watch yourself later if you want on the replay. Go on, Mr. Vanity.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Oh, and look at you. You can't see it in the feed, David, but he's rocking the Go Brewing T-shirt.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the good old days.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great
y'all
design.
Want to see what I made the other last
What did you
night
make
for dinner?
Oh, yeah.
I made chicken and sausage gumbo.
Look at that.
Hey, very good. Looks good.
Yeah, so I bought some andouille and some chicken, and then put in some bell pepper and celery and onion. It actually turned out really well.
Good.
Having it for breakfast.
You're having it for breakfast. That is my son right there.
I made a big old pot of it, and well, I don't know what to do with it. So.
Well, hey, that's the right way to do it. I mean, my dad would eat leftover things like sometimes like fettuccine or hot dogs or something if we had them. So I guess it might be a Hubble trait to eat dinner for breakfast sometimes.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a teenager / young 20s, poor young 20s trait. I didn't know if it necessarily extended to the Hubble family or not, but considering there's 3 of us on the screen right now, and that's looking really good.
Yeah. So did you invite anybody over for any of the gumbo?
I did. I had some friends over last night. I was like, I'm making gumbo, so if anyone wants it, you just come to my room. And then I got rid of most of it, but I still got, well, yeah, I still got a good portion. So I'm trying to just like auction it off to people.
Auction it off.
So
Yeah.
Hey, well, just remember,
yeah.
gumbo's always better the next day, and you can keep it up to 4
No, yeah,
to 7
it's
days.
really good right now. Actually, I'm really enjoying it. But it was amazing last night too.
Yeah,
So
cool.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
That's
that.
good.
Instead of eating or cracking open a box of mac and cheese, making his own food. I mean, that's that's
Yeah.
a step in the right direction. And I seriously thought you were
You
going to
know,
be the problem child, and you're turning out not so bad.
I don't think I've ever made mac and cheese while I've been here.
I bet
Like I've always,
you're probably one of the few
made
people that
like
can say that. You realize
So
that?
you did it? Did
probably.
you do everything? Did you do everything from scratch? You make a roux and everything?
No, so I at the store here, they were selling this gumbo mix, and I bought a whole lot of it, but it's this
Okay.
Yeah,
Louisiana
yeah.
gumbo mix.
That's a good brand.
And you just put it in a pot and add 8 cups of water, stir it
Hmm.
in, and then put out whatever ingredients you want. And then you leave it to simmer for a bit, and then it turns out to be really good gumbo. So
Good. Wait,
That's
Jeremy, we have to
yeah,
try that on one of our tastings. Make a video of that too.
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
yeah, no,
I this past week, I was trying to get the Mom Paul's gumbo mix
Hmm.
in Seattle, and the place I normally go is World Market to get it, and they were out
Mm.
at the one near the house, and I was like, What's going on?" And the woman who I originally interacted with, she said, "Well, it's being discontinued." I'm like, "Discontinued? This is the only place you can get it up here. Why would they do that?" And then she said, "Well, there's 3 at another store 10 minutes away." So I drove up there and I got all 3 of them. And they were on clearance, which was awesome. And I
Yeah.
asked the guy, I said, "Are you guys discontinuing these?" He goes, "No, it's out of season." And I said,
Oh.
"If you're in Louisiana, yes. Okay, this is what I'm seeing outside my window right now. That is very much not the end of gumbo season. That is
Yeah.
50 degrees and crap." So,
Yeah.
that gives you an idea of, it's like, okay, yeah, you can discontinue it in other parts of the country, but can you kind of keep it around here until we like actually really get the summer or really get the warmer weather?
But I think honestly, you can still go to the restaurants and get a cup of gumbo pretty much all
I
the time.
I was about to say, I mean, if you go to New Orleans in the middle of summer and you go to a
Yeah.
restaurant and they say, "Sorry, gumbo's out of season," I could see a lot of people getting pissed off.
Yeah.
So I don't think that can happen. Hey, Ren, I had a question for you. So when
Yeah.
you're looking at us on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
do you see?
Yeah.
I know you're on your phone because you're moving around like you're in an earthquake. If you are, do you see the entire window like me and David? And do you see all that? You
Yeah.
do. Okay, I just was making sure
Mhm.
because sometimes I'm
Yeah.
still getting my bearings with the way Zoom integration works with Ecamm, but I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
you could see like David, down below and everything else. So that's cool.
Yeah, I can see you. Like you guys are on my left side, and then I've got a screen that shows me, and then obviously a screen on top that's showing what my camera is seeing. But on here, I guess it's flipped for
Yeah,
me.
well, it's normalized here. So when
Yeah.
you see your
Yeah.
T-shirt, it probably looks like "go" is backwards on your screen, right?
Yeah.
It's right. It's
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, it
So,
was right for us. Yeah. I can
yeah.
see
Okay.
that.
So I don't know
Okay.
why.
Cool.
There's a setting in Zoom that you can switch for the video, and
Right.
it won't mirror, and it's just for you. I mean, Zoom always apparently sends over the correct image, but for some people, like if I want to touch my on air sign, right, my natural
Mm-hmm.
tendency is I'm looking over what I think is my left shoulder, but it's actually on the screen, it's on the right. So I have to kind of remap my brain to go like this, right? Instead of doing what I want to do, which is this, right? So if the screen's reversed, it's a lot easier to point to things. And that's why they do that. But
that's cool.
Yeah. So look, we get this. This is this. It's always neat to see this kind of stuff actually come into fruition. As a matter of fact, I talked to the Ecamm people, and they said that they wanted me to take screenshots of this. So and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Because they want to use this. They want to use like how are people using Ecamm to actually Zoom? To use the Zoom integration. And so having a call-in show like this, so you have Zoom because of school, or is it because you just had it?
I actually didn't have the app. It made me download the app.
Did
to do this. Yeah, because when I went to try to do it on the browser, it said like it can't do it for some reason.
Well,
so I guess you have to have the app
on your phone. Yes. On a computer, no, you could still use the browser in most cases.
Yeah, so I was just going to comment. I mean, the picture quality from Ren is really clear. So I mean, you're on Wi-Fi, I'm guessing. You don't have an external mic, and your sounds good.
Yeah.
So I mean, it integrates it really well, in my opinion.
It does. I'm very impressed by the. And I'm on the, so Zoom has different levels of accounts, right? And I'm on the free one, and the free one's supposed to give you the crappiest quality. Like, I don't know why, it just does. Yeah. And like I see I know there was a way to do this, but I can pull in, like I could see what Ren's feed is coming in as, but I'm looking at this on what is essentially a 2.5K, 3K screen. And, it looks like video, but it doesn't look terrible at all. Especially when you got you combine the fact that Ren's calling in through the Zoom servers.
Yeah.
From Moses Lake, which is way out in BFE, Washington. And then you're calling in from Mobile using interview mode. And then, of course, I'm hosting the show, but I still have to carry this all out to the internet through Ecamm. So to have all this work together, and it was relatively easy to set up is
well, you're the one who's got to answer that.
Well, I mean,
you and Ren.
Well, I mean, Ren, it was literally you click did you have to enter the password, or the password go in automatically for you?
I had to enter in the passwords.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I don't mind that. It's like I don't want people willy-nilly showing up on the stream, but
keeps the robots out.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But yeah, that's cool. So what do you got going on this week, Ren?
Let's see. This week, I have another cross-country flight on Tuesday. I'm gonna be going down to Pasco, Washington, just south of here. And then not sure what I'm doing for my next flight on Thursday. But yeah, it's just a regular week, and got some good weather, so it's warm over here.
See you, Joanne.
Thanks, Joanne.
And actually, it was really crazy. On Thursday, it was gusting about 40 miles an hour, the winds over here. So it was really crazy. And I just got back from my flight, touched down on the ground, and I get back to the ramp, and everyone's scrambling to get the planes into the hangar because the winds are so strong that it'll knock the planes upside down. So
wow,
it was like it was crazy. It looked like cattle all going into one direction, like getting away from a wolf or something.
Speaking of which, David, were you part of the whole line of storms that went through the South over the past couple of days? Did you guys get any of that mess?
We got a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Actually, we lucked out from looking at videos of some of my friends from Cypress, Texas. They had their
Hmm.
backyards messed up. Uh, Listened to Don Dubuque talking about things getting messed up and where the storms were hitting this morning. And then I think it was Romeville, Louisiana. Somebody posted a video where it had like uh, power poles snapped in half.
Wow.
So we fortunately haven't seen that. We have seen a lot of small limbs, tiny limbs and leaves off the trees
Yeah.
in the last week or two. Um, but we didn't lose any power, knock on wood, and everything's been relatively good here because I was concerned about yesterday really driving. And then my younger daughter, Katie, had to play for her high school's
Yeah.
graduation.
Oh,
And
that
then
would
Ashton,
suck if it
yeah.
was bad
Well,
weather.
well, they do it inside at the University of South Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And so, and then Nicole and Astrid were up visiting our niece playing her concert. So they were about 30 minutes away. So luckily, it all worked out where the weather, we were able to avoid it. Had a little bit of rain for about 20, 30 minutes during the day yesterday, but
Yeah.
nothing as bad as what everybody else got. So I'm just using it as a good excuse to stay inside and not have to worry about yard work and whatever else.
Oh, that's the excuse I would use. Yeah, Ren, they recorded wind gusts at New Orleans Lakefront Airport up to 84 miles an hour Thursday night. Yeah,
Whoa, that's
yeah. There
crazy.
were two planes. There was a
Wow.
Cessna. I think it was there was a Citation and there was one other plane that got blown off the ramp into the grass off the taxiway. Yeah,
Hmm.
Really? That's
yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
pretty nutty weather down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like with the winds here, um, along with it, we got a dust storm.
Oh, well, of
Hmm.
So
course.
Hmm.
it was gusting, 43 miles an hour plus dust, so you can't even like have your eyes
Right.
open because you'll get dust particles in your eyes.
Yeah, see, David,
So
it's
Wow.
kind of
yeah.
hard to being in the South where, you go from one region to another and it basically it goes from flat to maybe a little bit hilly flat to a little bit more hilly. Um
Hmm.
in Washington state there are I mean, there is where Ren is, which is what, 2.5 hours away? Is that yeah, two
Yeah.
and a half hours away?
Mhm.
Uh, it's the high desert, and it's flat, sandy. You know, it's oh, Ben just came in, and
Hey, Ben.
so yeah, it's a world of difference. He could be having snowstorms and or dust storms, and it's perfectly fine here, or he
Hmm.
could be having great weather, and we could be having crap here. So
Wow.
it's and just 2 hour difference.
Mm.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I
The whole
mean,
thing
Yep.
of microclimates is a
yeah.
real thing here.
I mean, we pretty much in Mobile get what New Orleans will get.
Right.
And in fact, the way that the working at chemical plants for the last 25 years, everybody's kind of gotten to where you become an amateur meteorologist because of the hour-long drive getting to work. And so, what you'll notice is the pattern is that as the storms come out of the Gulf, it'll come up at an angle almost at the same slope as going up I-65, which I
Yeah.
got to take. And so it's like you can't like just drive through it and get out of it. You end up getting
Going
stuck in
with
it
it. Yeah.
and going with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's just delayed. So, like you're saying, I mean, if we watch it and happening in Houston, then there's a good chance it might break up or change. But if it gets to New Orleans and Biloxi, there's a good chance we're going to see almost the identical thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, get to experience the same weather as Louisiana. So,
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But it's I guess the good news is that for having when you have these microclimates that you can often if the like what Ren's going through with school, he can fly to another climate that's a little bit more favorable. If it was still safe to take off where he is, but it's just kind of
Right.
crappy, you can go somewhere else and and take advantage of the better weather over there. But it's whatever. It's he spent basically the entire winter grounded because of the
Oh yeah, all that weather we saw.
yeah, because I mean they we
Yep.
get snow in Seattle sometimes. They get a lot more of it, and it's cold. It's freezing cold quite a bit throughout the winter. So
Yeah.
but we're talking about Cajun stuff, so that's I don't know how snow has anything to do with that except shutting down the entire Gulf Coast when it does
Yeah.
happen.
Snowballs. You can get snowballs.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, snowballs. Actually, I got my daughter and youngest son are going to be going to New Orleans next month. Or
Okay.
Baton Rouge next month, and they're going for several weeks. And so
Okay.
I want to make sure that they get their fair share of snowballs in. For
Yeah.
Ren, a snowball is a daiquiri. Now,
Yeah, I think we had that talk, didn't we?
yeah,
At this stage in life, yes.
yeah, at this stage in life, yeah, you're not even
Yes.
21 yet, but they don't care
Yes.
in Louisiana. So that's
Nah.
that's.
I was
He
trying to
was-
remember if we had talked about. I know we talked before you went, Ren, to Baton Rouge. I don't know if we've all talked since.
Mhm.
I mean, I hadn't. I don't think if there was anything in particular, any places that you had gone that stand out that you can share.
Well, it was the first time I went to a plantation.
Yeah, he
I've
went to
never
Laura
gone to a
Plantation. Yeah.
plantation.
Okay, you went
Yeah,
to
I
Laura.
went to Laura Plantation and, saw the big house and uh, the slave quarters and all of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was just interesting to see kind of the difference of lifestyle,
Yeah.
from the people living in the big house to the people living in the slave quarters, obviously.
Right.
And I guess also just like the history behind the plantation and all of that, and um, got to go through Vacherie, so that was
Yeah.
interesting.
He took a picture in front of the Hubble Road
I
sign.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
took a
Yeah.
picture in front of Hubble Road. And then I forget what the dude's name is, but there was a guy who worked at Laura Plantation, and
Jay.
I guess
Yes,
he's a
Jay.
distant cousin or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
I guess he's a distant cousin or whatnot. And
Yeah.
he was telling me uh about where the old uh Wagaspack house was
Yep.
and the store
Hmm.
where that location was, and that it burned down however many years ago and
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, that was really interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to. I mean, for me, when I started really studying it when I was a teenager, younger than you. I know you're in your 20s now, but I mean, I was like
He's 19,
14,
believe it or
15.
not.
Okay. Well, I knew
Yeah.
you're close. So I was about 5 years younger than you when I started it, but back in the 80s. And of course, didn't have the internet. And
Yeah.
so my grandmother
Mhm.
and maybe her cousin Amy had sent me some books that may have had some grainy pictures, and then I'd get some newspapers from over there. So I would always learn about it and read about the places. And I was kind of, I mean, it just seemed like it was so far off. And then to finally get to visit them when I was in, it really probably wasn't until Astor and I got married, and about 10 years after that, with our kids starting to grow up, we started venturing over there a lot more. And so then to be able
Mhm.
to really see those places where our ancestors had lived, and then learn a little bit more about it, and just to think about how much had changed and how much hadn't changed in the 100 to 200 years that our family had been out there. And so
Yeah.
things I had been studying and seeing old pictures and grainy pictures, and then you go out and you see the property, and of course, in some cases, the houses are no longer there because, like you said, the one Wagasback house burned in the 50s, and the Hubble Wagasback store had been burned in the 70s. But it's just to be able to kind of see that, and then if you ever have a chance to do a cemetery tour of like St. Philip Catholic Church Cemetery back there, you see a bunch of Hubble names on there, and they're all your ancestors or aunts and uncles or great great aunts and uncles. So then it's kind of cool to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
names and things that you've seen. Did you get to eat any place in Vacherie, or
right.
did you?
No, not in Vacherie. We just went to Laura Plantation and then back.
Okay.
I forget if we had stuff to do later that day, but yeah, it was just a plantation tour and then back to Baton Rouge after that.
Yeah.
I,
Well, I'm
I
glad you got to
wanted,
do that. That's cool.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
I'm trying to, let's see if I can, I wanted to pull up Vacherie on the map here. David, did I tell you about my excursion the night after Spuddy's? Did I tell you
I
about
don't
that?
know.
The nighttime excursion where I went down the road and I didn't know where the hell I was, but it was so dark that I didn't get a chance to I didn't know where I was. I mean, I was, obviously, well, here, I'll just show you. Let
So,
me pull
so that you went to Vacherie and you did the cooking with Spuddy.
with Spuddy, yeah.
Yeah. So it was the night after that, or that night when you
No,
were
it was the
leaving?
night of, and I was trying to head back to Baton Rouge,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that,
yeah. You know what? I bet I can. I kind of think I bet I know which road you took.
yeah. So let me pull it up here. Let me go to maps. There we go. All right. So let me so we can see this. Let me see if I can size this a little bit better. Come on. Okay, that's a bug. Found myself a bug. All right, here we go. Say maps. We'll set this to 4x3. There we go. Okay. This is, close enough. So okay, here's reserve. All right, so
Yeah, it
here's
should
Hubble
be.
Road, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what I did is I went along River Road here, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And I was talking with my father on the phone, mistake number one, when I had left Vacherie, and I ended up with I took the wrong. Oops, what's it doing here? Come on, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. There we go.
Nugget.
Yeah, it's my hamster, or not my hamster, but feels like the family's hamster. Okay, so anyway, I'm coming along here, and I'm supposed to cross over right here
Yeah.
in Wallace, right, and
Yep.
then find my way back to Airline, and then eventually back to I-10.
Yep.
I took the wrong way. Now this is middle of the night, right? And well, not middle of the night, but I mean it was basically
It was 7:30 o'clock, right? Yeah.
7:30 at night, and at that time of the year it was dark, right? So I
Yep.
end up on, what is this?
Yeah.
3213.
Yeah.
This
I know.
road
I know.
right here.
That's where I
Yeah.
thought you were about to tell me you were going to be. So okay.
Yeah, so I'm driving along. There's nowhere to turn around.
No.
There's
No. There's
absolutely
not.
nowhere to turn around. And I'm just driving, and then I come to this T right here, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this looks dark. And then here I could see convenience stores over.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I was looking at Vacherie.
Yeah.
I basically, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna head this way and go to the convenience store and get my bearings, because iOS was the cell signal was dropping
Mhm.
in and out, and I
Yeah.
didn't get a clear shot. Anyway, so I drive all the way here, and I say, well, I'm going to just turn around and go back and catch the bridge over, which I eventually ended up doing. But I did not realize that I was just, this is the distance.
2 miles back. Yeah.
I left from about right here, went this way. I was quite literally, I just had gone, I mean, I felt like a freaking idiot. I went in a complete loop through which, I don't know what this is here, but it felt like it was swampland,
Yeah.
at least parts of it.
So yeah, I was going to tell you. So we did that one time at night, and we had an invite from Jay and Norman, who had founded, or not founded, but had restored our plantation. For they have an annual Christmas bonfire that they will do, and it's not
Uh-huh.
open to the public, and it's by invite only. So we had gone one time back when the kids were younger, but this last time was, I think it was like 4 years. No, it was when Nicole was a freshman in high school. So it's been almost 6, 8 years. And
Okay.
so it was crazy because I mentioned it and I told Astrid, so well, the problem we always have is that the Christmas concert they have is on that same weekend, that same day that they do the bonfire. And so I said something to Astrid about it, and she goes, yeah, well, maybe we can go. The concert will be finished at this time. So I was like, are you serious? You want to try to go from downtown Mobile to Vacherie? And I think it started at maybe 7 o'clock, the bonfire party, and the concert ended like 3 in Mobile. And she goes, yeah, we can try it. So I mean, we mapped it out, and my wife is quite a skilled driver and quick, and she had
Quick.
she she had the minivan going, and so we made really great time through Mississippi and New Orleans, and I don't know if we took New Orleans. But anyway, we ended up going whatever the shortest route was, and it led us when we crossed the Veterans Bridge there into Wallace. Uh,
Yeah.
that route that it took you there,
Yeah.
and I can remember that exact feeling. Except I had 3 other people with me. Is that it wasn't real late. It was about the same time you would have been, but I was like, man, there's nothing out here. It is dark. If you don't know where
Yeah,
you're going,
it's really dark.
yeah. And I mean, it was very dark. And I mean, when then we got to that, I think it's a Wagapack is what they call that convenience store there,
Yeah.
that gas station. And then we took a right, and then we went down past Spuddy's, and then hit the River Road, and then we were right there at Laura. But yeah, so when you said you had gotten lost in a really remote place, that's kind of what I was envisioning, and it sounds
Well,
like it was the same road.
the funny part is that it wasn't that remote. It was just I was in this loop that just took me,
Yeah,
because Ren, you don't see this during the day, but I mean, at nighttime you go from dark to darker, and
Yeah.
it's not I mean, it's really not until you get into the major cities where it brightens up. It's everything's spaced apart pretty far, and then what is um even still pretty close, it is dark in between, and all the trees that you can't see at nighttime are blocking the light from place to place
yeah,
anyway. So yeah, I ended up
Yeah.
turning left on Airline Highway, and I went past the Zapp's plant. I don't even know if they
yeah. In
still make
Gramercy,
chips. Yeah, in Gramercy. Yeah, and then
yeah,
eventually I knew that 61 eventually met up with I-10 and right outside
yeah,
of Gramercy. So I just stayed there, and I knew the worst case scenario was I'd take Airline Highway all the way through Gonzales, and eventually I'd end up in Baton Rouge. But I just
yeah,
didn't. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case.
yeah. It's a
But
little longer to do it that way.
yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Okay, well, Ren, thank you for joining in. Really appreciate it.
Of
Our
course.
free Zoom time is almost up, so I'm gonna.
good job, good
All
job
right.
on the gumbo.
Yeah.
Tell us what you'll make next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the same thing because I can't really add shrimp to it because I'll die if I eat it. But
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. I forgot about that.
we'll see.
You can make a jambalaya with sausage and chicken.
That's right.
I can try that.
I do have some
Yeah.
boudin here.
Jambalaya is good.
If you ever want to partake in that, that's going to be interesting one for you, because
We can
I
make
got it from.
boudin
Sure.
from scratch in your room there. I can give you some recipes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure nobody will mind that at all.
Well, maybe I'll start cooking more once I get my own room because I have a roommate, so I can't really do much. Well, he's not here right now, but yeah, when he's when I'm alone, I usually like to cook and stuff, but
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
Alrighty.
well, thanks.
Well,
Thanks a lot for joining in and testing. I will let the Ecamm folks know that we had a successful trial run, and you who knows, you might end up in some marketing material with no royalties to speak of. So, congratulations.
well,
All right,
alrighty.
bud. See you later.
All right.
Good to see
See
you.
y'all
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Cool.
let me go
That
back to
worked out
our.
well.
Yeah, it did work.
Mhm.
Not bad.
Yeah. Ben's comment.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I took that road between Bunkie and anywhere. I guess we would take Bunkie to Baton Rouge or Alexandria. I can't remember how exactly it comes out, but it's been a long time.
Well, let's go ahead and call it so you can get on with your day, and I'm gonna get on with my day, and we'll we keep talking about getting other people on board. I think
Yeah.
maybe we need to get a few folks, put them in the hot seat, and see if we can't get them to call in. I mean, if with Zoom functionality, we may be able to get
Yeah.
people. It may be a lot easier to get people to come in, even for a little bit, with us.
Well,
So
yeah, and you say that, and I didn't think about it before, but like one of the concerns, like Uncle Larry has had, is feeling like maybe he doesn't quite have the equipment. But now, if he can just get a iPhone stand or just
yeah,
some books and prop it up
yep,
and just hit the button, it makes that so much easier for folks,
yeah,
especially now that we know to work it.
yeah,
And I know we had talked to a couple of people, and I will reach back out to two of them that we had talked about before. Uh, we hadn't reached out to Vance Vokersong because that man and his wife have been busy with
yes.
festival season.
Festival, yeah, yeah,
And I think they got a graduation maybe this weekend too. So, I mean, we want to be respectful of everybody's time because we know
sure,
everybody's busy. And especially when you provide good products and good material and information to everybody, you're in demand too a lot.
yep,
So,
yep,
um, we've got a few of those I know that we want to get back on talking to directly instead of y'all just listening to us. And then I think we've got a few different things that, we've got a few, I'm sure, seasonality. Maybe we can come up with some other recipes or something to explore.
that's right.
And,
Get some fat
to,
females.
yeah,
Get
get some
some.
fat females. Yeah. The video I did, not about fat females, but was about, it actually had butts in it. I did Uncle Larry's brown
Yeah,
sugar dry
yeah,
rub. I just put
yeah,
that
the
out
butt rub.
today. Yeah, so that's another. It's kind of an atypical Uncle Larry's product because most of his stuff is either going to be like stews or gumbos or just enhancers,
Yeah,
season enhancers to other things. But this is kind of an interesting venture into things that are maybe along the barbecue, and maybe that's another thing we talk about at some point is Louisiana barbecue.
yes, and with the green egg standing by at the ready, and I've got some lump charcoal ready to go.
Yeah.
I've already fired it up a couple of times and frozen my tushy off, doing so, but because it's still very cold up here. But I will absolutely. I would love to. I think we had talked about getting some of Larry's stuff up here.
Mhm.
If he's got dry rub products that we can use for barbecuing, assuming that that's not too heavy to send, I would love to have some of that stuff up here and cook with it, and maybe get some
Mhm.
of his guidance or recommendations as far as how
Yeah.
he uses his stuff, and see if we can't replicate it and
Mhm.
get a good yeah. I did find some pecan wood, which was good.
Cool.
I haven't, yeah, so the only thing I haven't found is post oak, but not a requirement. I can the pecan is more what I was interested in. So
Yeah.
um yeah, let's definitely let's make something happen, and
Yeah.
we'll have a good time. Yeah, big green content always welcome, according to Man.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I wasn't sure what BGE was, and if it was
the
Ben
green egg.
Griffiths. But
That's code speak. You have to know the secret handshake. We're gonna
yeah.
have to kill him now until he gets one, Ben. Um, kill him.
Well, you
Until he
kill me,
gets
then I can't get one.
I
So
know
it's
that's
kind
like,
of
yeah, that's true. I'd rather you get good microphones to do interviews with before you get the
okay.
green
Yeah,
egg.
yeah.
It's like, it's
I
priorities.
agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I still got to jump back on some of that, but yeah, I mean the like I said, we've got a couple of interviewees that we hope to engage, and
Yeah,
like I said, some more of the same content, and then we've brainstormed off and on with different things, and I think that maybe with school, in my case, getting ready to end in another week, and having to run around with other events, hopefully that'll allow me to think about. Plus, like I said, we had to get mom had her knee surgery and everything's going great on that. She's back up
good,
out of
good, good, good.
PT. So, just some of these milestones that we just had to kind of navigate through.
Yep,
Uh, and
just gotta
so
get through them.
let's hope we don't have any weather issues. And then we'll,
Yeah,
of course, the other stuff that I'm doing with Vachery. So hopefully, uh, we'll come up with some new and exciting adventures
yeah,
this year.
yeah. I think we got some. We definitely have some things to talk about. Now we got a good
Yep.
summer season rolling into that, and yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff swimming in my head, so we'll definitely get to it. So
Sounds good.
yeah, so plenty available on Facebook Marketplace.
True. Okay.
I don't think that's the barrier to entry, Ben.
No, I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, he's a very you're very adept at navigating tender waters.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. You take care of yourself, and
You too.
I'll
Thanks.
catch you on the next one. Thanks
Yep.
for joining.
Thanks to Ren, Joanne, and Ben.
And
Thank
Ben
y'all.
for driving. Yeah, and the wifey. So
And the wifey.
yeah, and the wifey. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. See you later.
Right. See y'all later.
Bye.